Good morning. Welcome to StockMarketFunding.com. This happens to be an equity called Google. It's a stock. It's a publicly traded company, and it's been totally oversold. And basically on this weekly chart is when this blue line right here, these blue bars on a weekly level, were extremely overbought. And you can go to StockMarketFunding.com and you can sign up for our online trading community. There's about 170 live trading videos, and this one happens to be in there. And basically, the way that Google has started off the year, as of today, today the date is 2/20 of 210 on a Saturday morning. And what you're going to learn here is that Google had a long uptrend, and the weekly moving average turned over. With the pullback, though, what makes this a bullish chart, where people will look at it that it's very bearish, and the bullish part of it is that we worked the overbought off. We're not overbought, and that when I point out on the chart over here, pal, you were 96% on the percent DS overbought, and now you're at 21.39 on a weekly. That is a buy. That is the investment of the year. Stock dropped $109, and you got to know when to get back in, and you got to understand why. And it's oversold, and it's a trade. And the previous week is a weekly doji. Reversal is confirmed. Lacking volume. That's the reality. The reality is that when do you buy an equity and when do you sell an equity? And what is the criteria for that? I'm telling you what it is. But guess what? I'm not here telling you because I'm speculating, I'm not guessing, and I'm not living in Wonderland. And you'll appreciate what I say because we live in the world of reality. We dropped $109 off the high. The buyers have come in for the last few weeks. The stock is putting in what we call a bottom. The stock was overbought in the moving average divergence. It was 96%. It needed to come down. And the trend cycle is the trend cycle. And the nature of a trend cycle is something that you need to come to and get a grip on. And you need to learn what a real trend cycle is. So the stuff that you've learned before in books that you think is going to help you, I don't think so. Because if it was that easy, you wouldn't be looking at this video. And you wouldn't have come to my website if it was that easy. And what I'm telling you is that during the correction, the bullish part is that 20-week, this red line, has kept rising in price. It did not turn over. The 20-week moving average has more relevancy to the trend. The 10-week, which is 10 weeks difference, yes, because of the amount of selling, it descended, and that's a bearish sign. It will eventually have to flatten out, and this weekly bar will eventually have to have a closing price above that 10-week moving average to make it really bullish. You're going to have to close above that blue line and half of that bar. That's going to be your resistance, and we're going to be trading it. And we're going to have live trades like we did on Friday. And we're going to make a lot of money on Google, as we always have and always will, since the day it became public. But we're not going to sit here and guess about what it will or will not do. What we're going to do is work with the facts on the weekly chart. And basically, the sellers from here to here have been accommodated. And now the buyers are starting to emerge on lighter volume. And that is the reality. And it makes it more of a bull stance than a bear stance at this point in time. And it's always confirmed when you have a weekly closing price above here, above that little cross. called a doji weekly. And that's the reality, and we're going to be trading the options. We're going to be trading this stock every single day next week, just as we did every day this last week and the week before, and even over here when it was putting in its bottom. And we traded the options on it every day. You want to learn how to be an options trader? Start learning what it's about, because on the 540 call, they lost their ass. They went down to 40 cents, and that's what the public loves to do, is be punished. They love to take losses because they rode that thing down all the way in the 540 call when the stock was up here, and they didn't sell it when it was at the highs. They didn't sell the option when it was in a reversal. No, they held it. They speculated it. And if you're watching this videotape, it's going to give you the first opportunity to learn how to deal with reality and come out of denial. And the reality of a trend is a trend. This is the time to be a buyer in Google. We said it was a buying opportunity over here. If you don't believe it on this tape, then take the time and the effort and the energy to go back a couple of weeks and look at our videotapes when we said this was the bottom. Okay? And if you're one of the kind of people that want to sit there and say, oh, well, now he's talking about, no, I told people that was the bottom then. And I also told people, like I'm telling you today on this tape. And Google will have to close above 560 to get more bullish. However, it's a trade from here. Let me show you. It's a trade from here to there. It's a professional trader's market, knowing when to buy here and sell up here. Then when it gets a closing price up above here, then that changes the story. Until then, it's to be bought and sold, and we use the options because you can trade Google every day by buying the options for a lot less dollar value than buying the equity in itself. And that's a whole nother subject. So now you've been given an eye-opener. And you better wake up if you want to be involved in the market and you're tired of your past results and you're tired of who you've been being involved in the market, then it's time to take accountability and responsibility. Come to the SMF Pro Trading School and start learning. It's a bullish reversal off the bottom, and now it's tradable up to the 563.